Hello and welcome to what's going to be the final part of this tutorial for Half-Life 2 after over a year. So yeah, let's get right into it. So we just clipped through the wall and we jumped down here and ran into the level change. So now what we're going to do is we're going to save delete. And we're going to get all this stuff. So now we're going to run down here. And it's a couple different ways. You can either just jump down there and run down there. And then, you know, jump down there with the elevator. Or we can be cool, we can go here. We can just look at this pole here. Just this pole and just sort of the right side in general. And then just sprint off and then just hold W and crouch, then uncrouch after you hit that. And you'll land right here without taking damage. Nice and fast. Continuing on. So I'm gonna show you the hardest strat in the game. Actually, the hardest strat in all of Half-Life speedrunning, in my opinion. So, first off, I'm going to show you the easy strat. So, there's a couple different strats to get to where we're going here. You can do this, and then AFH to get across here, but that can be hard. You can also come down here, and then, sort of, well, not hit the pod, not do it when the pod's in the way. That's not a good idea. But yeah, pretty much just go over here, and when there isn't a pod in your way, like that, you can boost over here and then sprint and jump around that corner, which I failed at, but you get the idea. But yeah, mainly we're gonna be doing this. So we're gonna do this boost, and in order to conserve a little HP for the strat we're gonna do, we're gonna crouch AFH off of it and then land here. So if you're not going to do the skip, which I recommend no one do the skip until you're trying to get sub 50 in the video game. Just do an SMG boost here. And be sure not to walk inside here too much, or otherwise your screen will turn white and there isn't a level change. And it's very annoying, so don't walk in too far without doing an SMG boost up here. But if you want to do the boost, so it's going to spawn us in the pod on the next map, and the only way to get out of a pod is to be holding something with the gravity gun. So there's these scanners here. So we're gonna take one. They'll be flying around, and if they're like going away from you, what you can do is you can save load, and then their path thing will switch directions. So you might be able to get them that way. And also be sure you just hold right click on them until they come to you, which usually will happen. So here I can just let them free, and you're just gonna go back. So we SMG'd into the trigger. We're gonna have to use a regular grenade for this. So if you just let this guy go, he's just gonna fly away without us like being able to get him after we throw the nades. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold W, not jump. I don't know how I jumped there, but that'll sort of push him in there so that we have time to do this. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna pick him up again, and then do the boost like that. So you need to get the boost just perfect enough where you get in there like that, and without the scanner dying. That's actually very precise, and I'm glad I got it first try. So yeah, if the scanner blows up, that means you're not blocking the scanner from the grenade too well. And if you're too far away, or if you don't hit the trigger, that means you didn't go high enough. And also, you need to have a bit of forward momentum as well to actually land. So when you hit the loading zone, I save, and then I pause first frame, and pausing first frame lets you avoid the, well, it lets you see where you are when you first spawn on the first frame of the level, because then this fade will start. So the area we're going to land is we're going to land like over here to the side, preferably over here, but if you can't do that, you can like hit this wall here and land on the floor that's just off screen there. So we can land on the closer spot right there, or we can go for the further spot, which is very tight, because you have to control yourself in the loading screen. And then what I do is I land, when I hear myself land, I'd turn my mouse to the right in order to keep the scanner. If you don't keep the scanner, it's fine, but we're going to use this scanner to get some extra HP. We actually got really good luck. It's a 1 in 3 chance of it happening. So if you don't get it, just keep reloading so you have enough armor. There we go. And now we're going to parkour. So to jump around these corners, we're going to hold shift and W. And then once we approach the corner, we're going to strafe to the side like that. And we're just going to keep holding sprint until pretty much the last second in order to give us the best chance. This is very difficult to get, so, or to do these jumps. So this one is slightly different shape. Is a slightly different shape, I should say. And yeah, stand on this side of it and then just jump around like that. Jump around again. So once we're here, if you missed the opportunity to get a battery from that scanner earlier, you can grab one from one of these guys that fly by here. I'm gonna reload back here. Like that. And then you can shoot him for one. So once I'm here, I circle strafe to jump across here. Or you can just jump to the side and around there, but circle strafing here is faster. And here, this is a really hard jump. Circle strafe and then turn around this corner. I didn't even get it. There we go, like that. That's a very awkward jump to get. So once we're here, we're gonna pull out our SMG. So we should have SMG nades and everything from the save deletion. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna circle strafe and do a shallow boost like that. Nade boost like that to get a bunch of speed. And we're gonna do 3 AFHs, and on the last AFH we're gonna turn to get around these pillars here, which are very annoying and very tight to get around. And it might take a couple tries. No one has ever pretty much done this flawlessly in a run. That's how hard this strat is. So you're gonna land on that side, and if you're really good, you can AFH and get in between like this pillar here and the wall. And you can get right over there. But if not, you can just come over here, circle strafe, and do a couple standing ABHs. We need about 1200 speed to make it across, which requires like 3 jumps, so that's kind of annoying. There we go. And that'll get you here, and you just crouch after the last jump to make it across. I'm gonna come over here, circle strafe across, and then we're gonna do another one of these circle strafe SMG boosts, like that, to get over here. I'm a little slow because I'm explaining stuff, so these guys normally aren't here. So that I should point that out. I'm actually gonna have to wait for them to get out of the way, so I'm gonna sit here for a second. That's good. And we're gonna go around like that, and then we're gonna keep going. So as long as you make it onto there and there, you're fine. And now this is the hardest part. So I do a series of jumps that makes this easy. So we're gonna have to get up there where that train track is, and there is a big old lip that you see right there that we have to basically get around after we hit a slope that's over there, an SMG boost. It's very annoying, but I'll show it off here. So what I do is I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the 5th one I turn 45 degrees into the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the second to last jump I want to have below max speed, essentially, so I'm going to purposefully delay hops. And when I get in the corner, I'm going to immediately turn around and sort of look up and shoot an SMG nade and then strafe around like that. That's very difficult, and you're just going to have to slow it down and look at my key presses for that, because I can't explain that. Luckily, YouTube has the feature for slowing stuff down. But yeah, once we get up here, we're going to come over here. And we're just gonna go all the way into this corner over here, like so. And now we're gonna have to get up there where the end is. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna circle strafe. 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 4th one I turn 90 degrees into the wall. And if I have enough speed, I should make it up here, and then I just strafe to the right and land here. So now we're to the point where we keep our weapons. Also, there's the pod. See how slow it is? It just now made it, and I've been explaining this whole time, so I should point that out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here, and we're going to land over here. So if you actually made it here in the pod's going to release you. What you're going to do is just going to hold forward and sprint. Like the entire time. Well, don't sprint until like you're getting close to the ground, but once you're falling out of the pod, just hold forward and sprint, and you'll basically get to where I am going to be here. So we're going to go over here to this side, and what we're going to do is we're going to keep our weapons. So there's a trigger here that gets rid of your weapons. Luckily, it's not big enough for this area, so what we're going to do is we're actually, in order for the game to progress, it has to shoot our weapons out. And shoot the gravity gun with a laser. So in order to do that, we're going to be just inside the trigger, so it shoots out the weapons. And then right after it shoots out the weapons, we're going to get out of the trigger. And before the laser that starts destroying the weapons gets shot out, we're going to pick up the rocket launcher. and other weapons if we care, but mainly not the gravity gun. We don't want to pick up the gravity gun until after the laser is shot out, or otherwise we will soft lock. So we're gonna get down here. If you're kind of floating in the air like that, oh yeah, don't pay no attention to that, that's just weirdness happening from skipping it. So if you're floating in the air, you can spam crouch until you're on the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically crouch, and I'm going to get down to this pixel here. And being on this pixel means I'm just inside the trigger. So you're going to say Confiscation field engaged, and then right after that, our weapons are going to shoot out. And then I move to the right, and then I just tap E on the rocket launcher. Sometimes you won't get it, just make sure you make a save just before your weapons shoot out so you can retry it until you get the rocket launcher, like that. And there's that laser I was talking about, so this laser is going to start shooting out to destroying the weapons. So don't pick up the gravity gun until after that laser has shot out. And then you can just pick up everything. And if you're too late for picking up the rocket launcher, and if you pick it up after the laser gets shot out, it will get deleted. So all the other weapons that we picked up after the laser just got deleted from the game. So we have the rocket launcher and we have the super gravity gun. So we're gonna grab some HP, and now we're gonna do this rocket boost. So just hold sprint and jump forward and hold sprint the entire time in order to be able to have the air strafing ability to get around this corner. If for whatever reason you don't get the rocket launcher, which actually I should have mentioned that, if you're having if that's very weird and annoying for you, just don't do it, because this strat only saves 10 seconds, because you can just go around here and then just go around there and you're in the exact same place. But yeah, come around here and we're gonna continue on, get across that railing, come through here, press the button for the elevator, go up, get out of the way, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna ASH, we're gonna grab that and then come here. So this next map has one of the coolest strats in the entire game, and one of the oldest strats in the entire game, Orb Launch. Also, I tapped my mic there, sorry. So before we hit the level change, we're just gonna grab a bit of HP, and we're gonna explain it. So I'm gonna do AI disable for this level, because it'll be a little bit annoying while I explain it. So I just kill these guys. So the idea is we're gonna take a monitor, and we're gonna shove an orb under it from here, and it's going to yeet us all the way up there. So in order to do that, we're going to set this up. We're going to walk along this railing until we get stopped right here. What we're going to do is we're going to zoom in. We're going to look at this sort of trapezoid shape here. We're going to aim just in the middle of it, on the bottom, I don't know, I guess edge of that right there. And we're just going to press E. And also make a save before you grab it, because otherwise it might mess it up. So now without really moving the mouse and only moving it horizontally really, we're going to move until the shadow, you see the shadow here, is in between this line and this line. Like that, and then once it's there, you can just drop it, and now it's perfectly set up. I'm going to grab this. That should work. If you wait too long with an orb, it'll blow up in your hand, so be careful of that. So the idea is we're going to have the orb in our hand, we're going to walk forward, and we're just going to have our crosshair to the right side to basically sort of be in line with this edge. It doesn't have to be that precise, but we're just going to hold forward while we're crouched, and then shoot the orb. And yeah, that setup did not work. That can just happen randomly, don't worry about it. We're going to do the exact same setup again, and it'll work this time. Like that. And then just hold crouch, and then shoot it. And that'll get you all the way up here. And be careful, because there's a death trigger right here that you have to make sure you don't touch on your way up. So I sort of strafe left and then right to make sure I dodge it. And you get right here. So I'm going to turn the AI back on. So keep going. Through here. And here there's a trigger that's actually waist high, so don't get a bump, or otherwise this door won't open. So if you're too slow, this Strider will be very annoying, and every time he shoots you, he'll slow you down so you can't progress. It's very annoying. But if you're fast, you'll get here and you'll be just fine. So we need to get rid of these 3 orbs to open this force field. What I do is I just tap E and then flick my mouse to the right so that I don't have to shoot it out of my hand. It just sort of flies out of my hand. So I do that 3 times, like that. And that opens this up. So going into this next level, we're going to be entering the last pod ride and going into the last cutscene in the game. And there's 3 different strats we can do. We can do the Let's Play strat, we can do the harder strat, and we can do the even harder strats. Let's start with the Let's Play strat. So the Let's Play strat is Let's Play. Just, you know, you come in here and you enter this pod. That pod for some reason is broken. Don't worry about it. And then you just do that. The harder strat is what we're gonna do is we're gonna go as fast as we can, and then just jump into this pod and just spam E and hope you get inside it. That's basically it. That's basically how that works. You sort of get the feeling down of it, even though that's really just is weird and just no one knows how it really works. Like that. And now the last strat, the very hard strat. So while we're in this level, we're going to pull out the rocket launcher. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to rocket launch to this next pod here. So each pod you skip saves 10 seconds. Also, if you enter this pod too late, you'll actually go the wrong way. And also, if you load a save with this pod, for some reason it'll move sooner, so keep that in mind. So now we're in a cutscene and there's nothing to talk about. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to speed up the game with my fancy bind I showed you for practicing Red Letter Day skip and some tutorial I made. It might not actually be in this tutorial series, but it's very useful having a time scale bind. So we're just going to do that to get through all of this. And when we get closer to the end of the Breen cutscene, I'll explain stuff. So when you're in a run, you're not allowed to actually do this, but I'm just doing it for demonstration purposes. Alright, so before we get too far, I'm gonna make a save there. So if you remember at the start of the game with the train and, you know, yes clip later on in the game, we're going to combine those two things together with the save load lagging to delay stuff and make it all weird, and deleting the pod that we're in so that we get no clip. So we're going to be doing that with this cutscene. So this cutscene, the pod actually gets deleted by the cutscene. So we're going to basically save load lag the game like we did with the train, in order to delete the pod while we're still in it. So what's going to happen is Dr. Breen's going to pick up the gravity gun. Alex will shout, "Watch out, he's gonna." And then Dr. Breen's going to say no. And when Dr. Breen says no, we're going to do about 10, 15 to 20 save loads-ish. And then we're going to delay one save load purposefully. And then do a few more. So the timing for these save loads is like the train, except for it's going to be much faster for this map because the loads on this map are faster. But you basically want to make it so that, like, it's kind of hard to explain. You just want the map to sort of simulate like one tick without actually like doing anything, essentially. Sort of like with the train. There's the audio is also kind of weird on this map. So you don't really want to hear a puff. It's very weird. Just it's much easier with live split because if the live split timer won't be moving, then you're probably doing it right. But if you're doing it too fast, then you also won't be doing it right. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, we're going to do 10 to in between 10 and 20-ish save load should work, and then we're going to delay one and do another like 10. And if you accidentally delay one or two after for in the second half of the save loads, in the second group of save loads, then that's fine. So we're gonna let him pick up the gravity gun here. So it's gonna be watch out, he's gonna no, and then we're gonna save load a bunch of times. So the save loads on this map are way faster than you think they're gonna be. So I'm just gonna do a bunch of them. And then I'm just going to delay one a little bit like that. Like maybe just so that you see like a frame of the game show up. And then I'm just going to just sort of save load and sort of delay a few here. And if you saw there, we have no clip. So what I do there is I just sort of hold D. And then I should spawn here in no clip. And then I just come up here. So we need to hit this trigger right here. It's very important because that actually activates the end fight here. We're going to go inside it. We're going to come back in here. We're going to grab the gravity gun, which takes a second to spawn, and we're going to come back out here. Also, very important notice. Do not enter this elevator shaft. Otherwise, it soft locks the game right at the end of your run. And you want to cry. So yeah, let me show that off again. And also, if you mess something up, what you can do is you can load your last save load save. Like that. You can go up here, go out here, touch that trigger, come back in here, and get the gravity gun. So what we're going to do here is we're going to stand here, we're going to shoot one in this side, because there's like a weird brush there that kind of blocks it. And because of that, we're going to go kind of near this, alarmingly near this, and just spam orbs in. And you've beaten the game. So we're going to come down here, and the fastest way to make sure Alex ends the game is we're going to stand just behind this. Because if we stand too close, she won't run forward like that. She needs to run forward slightly like that in order for her to end the game. And that'll be the timer stop right there. Which is good.
Time, Dr. Freeman.
Now there's a small chance you won't be able to do this. You can just let's play this map. This map isn't that terribly long. So just FYI. And that's really the important thing, and it's an important thing to know, really. The most important thing in speedrunning is to finish that first run. If that involves doing casual strats in a few places, that involves doing all the easy strats you don't want to do. People always want to be like, oh, I want to do the hardest strats. I know you want to do the hardest strats. Everybody wants to do the hardest strats. But the most important thing overall before doing the hardest strats is finishing a run. And if you finish the run with slow strats, let's play strats or whatever, that just means you'll have time save for your next run. And that's the fun in speedrunning, seeing that time save. And also, getting that first run done is also very important. If you can't get that first run done because you're just trying hard strats, then you'll never finish a run, ever. So just know that finishing a run is way more important than grinding the hardest strats. But yeah, that's all of Half-Life 2, and that means this tutorial is now complete after over a year. Wow. So, yeah. I might re-record a few of these for up-to-date strats, but other than that, the tutorial's complete, so goodbye.